Welcome to the Degen Dads podcast. I think this is episode 44. It's your host here, Kyle Wilson. Welcome. And today we're going to be talking about a ton of topics. And I have my co-host here, Chris Coffey, joining us as per usual on the Degen Dads podcast. Is because it's dads plural, right? So what's up, Chris, man? What's going on? Hope you had a great weekend. What's up, man?
Hey man, I'm feeling great. I had a good weekend, just recovered from being sick and just really took time with my kids, took some self-reflection, got outside as much as I could. It actually did rain for the first time, what feels like this year. So it was nice and wet outside, but good. I'm ready to be back at it, man. I only sent out 2 posts on Twitter the whole weekend, which for me, I probably average like 5 or 6 minimum a day. So 2 for the whole weekend, just both good mornings. Feeling really refreshed today. Woke up really early. Still not as early as you, I don't think. I'm pretty sure you messaged me before I woke up. I think I woke up at like 6 and I had a message from you already. But yeah, feeling good and ready to tackle this week. And also just like the market, man. We'll get into it during the market report and during the topics today. But like that does give a general fulfillment. Even though we're so confident that in the future of the market, it's still just to kind of see it green, and kind of moving the way that it's moving. It feels good. It feels like when we get to Thanksgiving, we don't have to tuck our heads under the table and be like, yeah, I invested in crypto.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I'm pulling up the charts. The market has been booming. Bitcoin's 36,000, almost 37,000. Ethereum's over 2K for the first time in a while. Solana's been pumping. AVAX has been pumping. There's been a lot of good tokens out there. We're going to get into AVAX today and a couple other alpha picks out there, both in the NFT side, but as well as the crypto side. So we're mixing it up. We're getting into not only NFT side of things, but crypto side of things as well. But yeah, man, I was sick last week as well. I think it's actually been longer than a week now, but yeah, that's no bueno. I'm glad you're feeling better. That's definitely awful, to feel sick and to have so much to do. Crypto never sleeps. So the grind, what it is. But yeah, man. Are we back? Are we back now at the end in the NFT space? Has been popping off ordinals, inscriptions, BRC20s, Gordon Goner. Chris, what's up? What's the alpha? Before we get into AVAX, let's talk about what Gordon Goner's been doing. Did he kick off this whole bull run? I know obviously there's more factors going on, but what did he buy? What's in his bag? And what's some of the alpha that what is he looking at? What are these collections, man?
Yeah, man. So Gordon Goner, the founder of Hugo Labs, went on a huge spending spree. Let me actually look up real quick. I didn't have his portfolio pulled up yet.
My favorite purchase is the Sappy seal, because I've been trying to get one of those for a while. I had one that I had picked out with headphones, and I was like, dude, this is the perfect seal. I had a blue scarf. It was so cool looking. I was like, yo, this is gonna be my PFP. Yeah, I'm gonna be super excited. And then somebody sniped it literally as I moved the liquidity into my wallet or had the liquidity for it. And I went and messaged this guy and I was like, hey, are you willing to sell the seal? And he was like, my daughter loves it, so I can't. And I was like, no. So anyways,
I remember that, man.
I never got one.
So this is the beginning of his spending spree. This isn't updated because I know for sure he later bought a mocha, because me and you are both holders, and I was like, yes, he bought a mocha. But the beginning, he bought a zombie punk for 600 ETH, which was by itself $1 million. And then he bought a crypto for 4.9 ETH, a golden Sappy seal, which was for 2 ETH. I was pretty surprised he snagged a golden one for 2 ETH. I didn't realize that they were, at that price. Gold DGod for 8 ETH, and then a gold Pudgy Penguin for 38.69 ETH. And that's just the beginning of his spending spree. He actually spent a lot more since then. He's definitely over the $2 million mark. But yeah, obviously we're joking around about him setting off the bull market, because around that time, there's just so much good stuff happening with Bitcoin just, going up, skyrocketing really for Bitcoin. It's up over 100% for the year with the ETF approvals or possible approvals and all that. Ethereum getting some love over the weekend. I was glad to see that because Ethereum was kind of being left behind. And I think it goes back to what we talked about either last week or the week before that. If you inject money into an ecosystem where there's a lot of hardcore fans, they're probably going to put a portion of those gains back into the ecosystem. So for instance, if you're a gamer, I know you are, Kyle, and somebody gives you a stimulus check, you might buy something that has to do with games. You might buy another, something to record your games. You might buy in-game assets. You might buy another game. And I think that's essentially what happens with crypto is a lot of times like people get money in crypto. It's like, I know I looked at my portfolio and I was up a lot, Kyle, like just this like last week or two, like my portfolio is doing great. I'm holding a lot longer, and a lot of my assets I have are more long term. But like if I wanted to, I could take some off the top, and I could buy an NFT if I wanted to. And I think some people are doing that on a much larger scale than me because I'm still a small fish. There's people that have made a couple $100,000 in these last few weeks that are probably pumping some back into NFTs. And right now we're still seeing an NFT rally go. I don't know the exact percentage across the board, but I mean if you just look at this chart, dude, it's so green. I mean this top 20 chart. I won't read all of them. I can't share my screen, I don't think. But Basie's up 26 over the last 30 in the last month. Basie 26%, Macy 22%, Captain's 27%, Pudgy's 5%. That's after like an insane rally. Even D-Gods are up because for a while they're getting crushed. Azuki's up 5%. Literally, it's green all the way down. There's only one in the top like 25 that's not green, and that's wins of something I've never even heard of before. So the market's looking good, man. It's looking healthy.
Now, there's another big piece of news too, like, coming off the back of that, Roblox mentioning NFTs in this big interview on the Squawk box or Squawk exclusive here. It was broken by the Paul Bear Network, and I saw somebody shared our video and like went viral on X or Twitter. And which is crazy because I posted about it. Somebody ran the content and shared it and got like over 100. It was like insane, like got like hundreds and hundreds of retweets. And this was a big piece of news, man. So I think that also gives a lot of credibility to the NFT space, Web3, what's going on, interoperability they discussed in the video. We're not going to play it, of course, here, but it's something you can go and watch, somewhere else. But anyways, the point being is that like that is massive too. Like some of these Web3 games that are building now, but also the coming studios that could be developing Web3 games or the big games like Roblox that could introduce NFT. So I think there's a lot of interest here. And again, this has been our thesis here on the podcast, is that eventually that NFTs are going to be mainstream is kind of the point. But Chris, what's your thoughts on Roblox? And then of course we'll get into some of the other like Web3 game topics. Avalanche has been popping off too. We'll get into some of that. But what's your quick thoughts on the Roblox? Like, are you thinking they're going to implement those pretty soon, or what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's inevitable. Whether it's soon or not, I think it just depends on like the legal clarity. Once like they kind of have like more legal clarity of like what they can and can't do, I don't see they've already talked about it. I don't really see a reason why they're not just going to go through with it. So I don't think actually establishing a system is going to take very long. I think it's like knowing for sure, like, hey, are we not going to get sued for this? Or, like, hey, is this illegal? I think that's what might take longer, but like, hopefully, as time goes on, we're getting closer and closer to those conclusions. The SEC is being pressed more and more. Gary Gensler hopefully is going to get out of office and hopefully get somebody more like pro crypto in there, or even more neutral in there. I mean, even our next like election, I'm sure that's going to matter too. Like, it's going to affect things like having somebody in office, what their takes. So, anyways, I think all those factors like really like depend on the expedition. I think all of those really affect the process. But yeah, as far as Roblox goes, I think every time I try to explain NFTs use case to somebody, like gaming is always one of the examples that I use, because there's going to be a lot of practical things. Like people like might have documents that are now on chain, or they might have like some assets that like they otherwise, like a house, on chain or whatever. But I think gaming is just so easily understood because like gamers truly understand what it's like to grind for something, but still not really own that something. I feel like every gamer in their lifetime at some point has probably lost access to something they've grinded really hard for. Whether that's just because
Pokemon, Pokemon on Game Boy, you caught all those Pokemon, but like you don't actually own those, so I don't know, where you lost your game and you had to start over.
Exactly. But what if like those Pokemon were on chain and you lost the game, but it's okay because they're on chain. So like you can just transfer it to another, your ownership of it, like, to your wallet or whatever, right? Which I guess the counter argument there would be, well, what if you lost access to that wallet? And that's where I think they're going to build more systems, like security systems in place. And say your safety and security will just depend on layers of your tolerance towards decentralization, all the way going towards, if you want pure ownership, you can have it, but if you want like an extra safety net, but it's also something centralized that could rug you, then you can have that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of which, is the tier one or T1 who uses AVAX for their rewards program via the UPTN subnet moves on to the League of Legends Worlds 2023 finals. Now, South Korea, Asia, Japan, China, like all these countries in Asia, Asia-based countries are already ahead of the curve here. They're implementing T1 is implementing AVAX like into their rewards program, so fans can essentially collect collectibles. So including League of Legends collectibles, which is really massive. Like imagine having a League of Legends collectible. Now I think they may be T1 based, so I haven't actually seen them. But yeah, they just made it to Worlds, man. Just to show this quick clip, like it is massive. Like this whole entire crowd just sold out. Dude, I was watching this. 80,000 people were live on the YouTube channel watching them play. And dude, the energy, like that clip, like people do, just the crowd erupting and 80,000 people watching from their homes, like live on just YouTube alone. Like, dude, League of Legends is massive, and it's a big deal that like these big gaming orgs are using blockchain for their rewards program and in some cases payments, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But what's your thoughts on like this, like AVAX popping off? Was it on your radar? Is it a big surprise that gaming orgs are using these blockchains for their rewards programs and other types of utilization?
Yeah, man. So AVAX was already on my radar. I actually had what I like to call an AVAX printer. If the SEC is watching, it's not quite what it sounds like. Last bull run, even though like I overpaid for it at the time, I think it finally probably is breaking even by now. Where essentially I would like mine the certain crypto, so it'd be similar to like Bitcoin mining. We'll use that as an example. But I would immediately swap that crypto because it was built on AVAX. I would swap it for AVAX. So I would essentially get like a little bit of AVAX every single week. And I did that for a long time. And I'll admit, during the bear, I just got lazy with it because it's like, man, do I really want to redeem this like 30 cents to like, for grinding for a week? Do I need to like pull up all my information, go through the swaps, go through the fees and all that just to get this 30 cents? But now looking back, I should have, and even though I had the mindset like AVAX is going to be worth more than this one day, in my head, so that 30 cents could be 60 cents, it could be $1, it could be $5. For the sake of anything, it could be $0. But even though I had that in the back of my head, I just wasn't consistent with it. But all that say, I'm very exposed to AVAX. I actually played a game on AVAX and owned AVAX NFT gaming assets way before all this was cool, like during last bull run when nobody else was talking about it. I played Gods of Asgard. It was built on AVAX, and I think it's still kind of around. I stopped. I played the beta version of it, and it was really fun. I stopped playing because the project that I was heavily involved with and Gods of Asgard were supposed to work together. But basically something fell through and they didn't rug, but Gods of Asgard kind of did their own thing, whereas the project I was closer with did their own thing. So I just didn't play Gods of Asgard anymore, but I still think I have those assets. I just kind of, after that time, didn't really care anymore. But yeah, so all to say, like, I'm familiar with gaming on AVAX. AVAX is really cheap. The transactions are very cheap. I always thought it was a strong L1 competitor. It was always like on my top 5 radar. Now I'm not like massively exposed. Like you might say, like, Chris, you just said you had an AVAX printer. Like, are you loaded up? No, I'm not massively exposed. I don't know. I've only bought AVAX a handful of times. The rest was mined, through that method that I was just telling you. So I'm not like heavily loaded like I would like to be. But from somebody who's used AVAX, and rest in peace, but used to use Snowtrace all the time, which is like AVAX's like Etherscan. Now, isn't that like not a thing anymore? Like, didn't something recently happen with Snowtrace?
They basically got absorbed by like the actual, I think, official like Avalanche,
Okay.
blockchain. Yeah, like so they shut down, which was literally by Etherscan. Like Etherscan ran Snowtrace. And I think maybe they just didn't have the resources to run it or something like that. So I think either Ava Labs or Avalanche themselves like basically took it over. So it's not like they're entirely disappearing. They're just doing a name change. And I think it's like quote unquote under new management. But yeah, that's kind of like what's going on there. But look at this real quick here before we get into the rest of it. It says for the tier 1 or T1, Fan engagement experience is made better than ever by combining IRL events, digital collectibles, and exclusive benefits. And I think some of this includes like free food at their events too. So it's already got like built-in utility of like what they're doing with their fans, which is kind of cool because like, you know, you saw Starbucks with on Polygon, like with their rewards program, but now you're starting to see gaming orgs, you know, with their rewards programs too. So this is like SK Planet. This is like the leading data and technology company in South Korea. They own the subnet essentially via, you know, UPTN is like their the subnet that they own basically. But it has like many other consumer applications that they're also bringing apparently to the subnet, including OK Cashbag. So, and there's like a bunch of other like things that they, you know, like apparently they represent and do a lot with other like brands in like the Asia based, you know, area. But I thought that was pretty interesting. TSM as well, man. TSM is using a subnet as well. And this post goes on. This is by Coop. And I followed Coop back in the day, man. I didn't even know he worked at AVAX. I remember messaging Chris, and I was like, bro, you have to follow this guy. And he is legit, like a legit Web3 gamer, like and a gamer. This guy knows what he's talking about. He ended up working for AVAX and I had no idea. So that's like kind of funny. But anyways, you have to go follow Coop. He's an OG and he's a G. But yeah, look at this. Blitz in the game overlap with 30 million players, run promoted by their major esports team, TSM. They're adding crypto rails to their entire payment system. That means all their premium subscribers will be on chain, and AVAX subnet is really their only option to do this with a smooth UX at their scale. I can't even begin to talk about the coolest parts yet, but next year is going to be big. So you can't even talk about a lot what's going on behind the scenes. There's a lot going on in the Web3 gaming world. As you mentioned, Chris, Web3 gaming is huge, and it's the primary, in my case, the primary use case for NFTs. And when you're starting to see these digital, you know, worlds being blurred with digital physical, this is just a natural progression where things are going, and it just makes sense. Rewards program, NFTs in game. What else? Like, you know, like it protects like the game developers and ensures that they have royalties, given that there's correct royalty systems in place. We're still working through that phase, but Gabe Layden, he's developing a smart contract for it called ERC 721C that basically enforces royalties. In a
Magic
nutshell,
Eden has one. They teamed up with Hugo last week.
Magic Eden partnered up with Gabe Layden, and I wouldn't be surprised if Yuga Labs was using Gabe's actual contract for that.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, the reason I want to put that out is because Magic Eden is like a top 3 marketplace, like hands down. And so it's pretty cool to see that they're teaming up with Huga to support creators, regardless if they used Gabe Layden's technology or not. I think it's
I saw that.
That's a pretty big win for the NFT space, because that same week, OpenSea announced that they were laying off a ton of people. So OpenSea does big layoffs, and then Magic Eden is like, hold my beer. I know that OpenSea let y'all down this week. We're going to do something cool, and we're going to enforce artist royalties. So Magic Eden just put the weight on their back, man. And they are, to me, they are in competition for the #1 marketplace right now. Like, they just keep on getting better and better.
Yeah, and to your credit, like, dude, Magic Eden was already in gaming as well, so they like already have a full understanding. Like, they've launched, like, in their launch pad, they launched a lot of games, and you know, Fractal, that's another one that I really like for games as well. You know, Magic Eden was known for Solana as well. Like, that is a good blockchain for gaming, is what it's starting to appear like. Fast transaction speeds. That's really all gamers really care about, is like fast speed, right? So that's another thing, is Magic Eden was very early to like all this quote unquote hype before it was even like, you know, around. So yeah, creds to Magic Eden. They announced before the Yuga announcement, they announced the, you know, working with Gabe Layden's processor that's going to implement in Magic Eden. And then Yuga, like a day later, announced that they were going to be with Magic Eden as well with their marketplace. Let's take a look at this here. Let's go on the wider market in Becker world. I know Becker, one of your favorite people of all time. I'm a citizen holder myself. He is launching some of these S1s that are coming into Neo Tokyo, the Citadel. So here's some quick alpha for you. You have Altura, they just joined the Citadel. They have Loopify building the Treeverse, which he's a big influencer in the, I guess, crypto space, now in Web3 gaming, building Treeverse plus other titles. Joining Neo Tokyo, Vulcan Forged as well. Vulcan Forged, one of the founders over there, joining Neo Tokyo. So there's your little bit of alpha there. We're going to get into the token side in just a minute. But yeah, Web3 gaming is definitely the meta right now, and a lot of like NFT guys are going to be starting to slap, you know, gamer and like Web3 gamer under their bios. So we'll see where that goes. Chris, what's your thoughts on like this new meta shift? What's going on here?
Again, man, I just think it's kind of inevitable. Like, I think that gaming is a huge use case for NFTs, and people see that there's money in that. And I mean, you would know this probably off the top of your head more than I would, but like, or we could look it up. But like, what's like how much money do people pump into games per year? I mean, do we have like a rough figure on that?
Oh, I mean, it's up there, man. I think the world market is astronomical. Like it's set to go, it's like a multi-billion-dollar market in gaming in general. So it's gonna continue to grow like
So,
year over year. Yeah.
and I don't know this time. It says that the global market size was valued at 249 billion in 2022, and is anticipated to grow from 281 billion in 2023. So
Yeah.
and
And
they
that
put some, yeah, I mean, that's just according to Fortune Business Sites.com. But I mean, we're talking, just look at the money that's involved, and look at
yeah.
I think for the longest time, and I know that this might sound obvious, but like when you like think of like the Super Bowl, like you kind of see everybody there in like the stadium, you see everybody filled out and all the fans going crazy. You didn't see that in gaming for the longest time, especially after 2020, like COVID and everybody went inside. But like you think about the amount, like 80,000 just on YouTube alone watching that tournament you just mentioned. Dude, that'd fill a stadium. Like that's a lot of people
And it did. The
watching. That's
stadium
a lot of,
was
yeah,
filled too.
that's a lot of attention, and the stadium's filled, and you have all the viewers. Like there is so much attention, and in today's world, attention and retention is monetization. Like that's where the money's at, and so like there's so much attention around esports. It's like an ever growing field of more and more people getting better, getting serious, more sponsorships, more everything. So, and then it's as you said, one of the top use cases for NFTs. So it just makes sense that they'd go hand in hand. The next step to me is just taking away the connotation of NFTs and like how that's been stained, especially towards gamers, because gamers are more on the tech side typically. So it's like they feel like they know just enough to know that like, oh, this is a scam. We don't want to mess with that. We're good the way we are. But if we can kind of shift that personality, and we are right now with people like Dr. Disrespect launching their own game, and then Tim the Fat Man playing the game. Basically, you have enough influencers that are like, yo, this is cool. You don't have to over speculate or get scared that somebody's gonna like scam you or whatever. Like just play the game and have fun, and realize that you own the assets, and realize that if you pull that crate, that CSGO crate, you can use this marketplace anywhere, and trade it anywhere like easily. I feel like more and more people are going to see that. And then I also think that just the term NFT, which is just a technology at the end of the day, is going to kind of fade away, and like we'll kind of see smoother sailing from there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's just a lot to look forward to in this market. Just what Avalanche is doing. Obviously, the subnets is like custom. It's like literally a custom built blockchain for a game. And then you don't have to worry about like competing block space as much or anything like that. Like you have your own dedicated subnet for your game. Like that's powerful, man. To have a custom subnet, basically a custom blockchain that's on a super effective L1 like Avalanche. I think that's massive. So they're definitely on my radar. Of course, there's other like Solana's like up there, Mutable X, of course, and like some of these layer twos. But yeah, credits to what Avalanche is doing, bringing on like these mainstream gaming orgs. They're doing a really good job. So not a big surprise. Obviously, Becker's been mentioning them in his tweets and videos. So I think that definitely helped like their case out for sure. So just a lot of alpha there, like paying attention closely to like where the games are building, where they're going live. I think there's a lot of good sleepers on Solana. And of course, that like Immutable X has a huge book of games that are going live, like half of them or something like that, or a lot of them are going live next year. So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. People are already trying to front run Immutable X on the price, all that stuff there. But be aware of all these token unlocks as well. So that's something you always want to do your due diligence. When are the tokens unlocking? A lot of these platforms still have token unlocks. So you want to be aware of some of these blockchains like that. But yeah, man. Is there anything you wanted to cover off on that end? Some of these other things before we get into like our picks, like NFTs and crypto picks?
Yeah, man. I think picking for me, like kind of as somebody who went through the last bull run, and I feel like I'm happy with the outcome of the last bull run. Like I didn't get rich, but I also didn't lose money. You know, I was pretty neutral the whole time. I think I have my winners that like I'm going to stick with for a very long time. And I think on other stuff, like when you get to like, especially like L2 type coins or just like certain tokens, you know, not financial advice, but like I think playing narratives is big. Like if you're just looking to make money, I think the token can have, again, we're not talking about like AVAX L1, we're not talking about Bitcoin or Ethereum, but like a random token can have a ton of foundation around it. But if there's no narrative there and there's no like users there, nobody like doing things around the ecosystem, then it might never see this like insane price action. So like if you're trading, it's probably best to play that narrative of like of hitting points to where you're comfortable with taking profits, you know, opposed to just like finding this random token that has a really cool use case and then just being like, oh, I'm gonna hold on to this for 10 years because like things can fall through, you know. So like just kind of know that if this is if you're watching this and you haven't experienced a bull market before, just kind of know that, you know, going in of kind of setting your own goals, your own prices, and a token can have all the fundamentals in the world, but if there's no users there, then it might just get one cycle. Yeah.
Next topic, then we'll start talking about like some of the picks here. My picks are going to be for the NFT slide. Probably I like Sappy Seals, man. I feel like they were undervalued. Now there's probably like a lot of hype. I haven't even actually checked out their floor price yet. But those were one of my, because they're cute. They were kind of like the pudgy penguins, but they're seals. They have tails. Like, I mean, come on, they're so cute. And in there, like, you know, you look at their Instagram, gets a massive amount of engagement, like millions of impressions. It's kind of like following in the footsteps of like pudgy penguins, but they have their own unique, like, you know, stuff. And pudgy has like a Sappy Seals trait. So that's kind of like my low-key pick, but it's probably not so low-key after Gordon Goner purchased like one of the Grail Sappy Seals. And I think Sappy Seals has been doing a great job. And I'm sure they have bigger announcements around the corner. And then on the crypto side, Bytes, of course, that's been, you know, I bought Bytes like back at $2 and they pumped to almost $9, which essentially was Neo Tokyo, Alex Becker and Elliot Trades' collection. But if you stake your citizen, you like generate these bytes. Bytes is like the, you know, bytes equals bytes. You know, it's like a kind of token you can use inside the community to tip people and things like that. So there's like a lot going on with bytes. And, you know, Becker's been talking about, you know, more announcements around that and quote unquote launch pad. So we'll kind of, it's like TBD, like what he's going to mention and what he's going to say, like even inside, like we don't know what's going to happen. So that's kind of my low key pick there. I think the market cap for Bytes is like roughly, it was roughly between 10, 15 mil market cap, $1 million market cap. The last I looked, I think it's like at 14 almost, hanging around $7.41. But you know, it's been dormant for a long time, Chris. So it pumped to like 200 per byte, and it was like, I think I want to say like $100 million market cap or something crazy. I can't remember exactly the market cap, but it was a lot. And now it went dormant in the bear market, and now, you know, Becker's kind of back at it again, and obviously that has had like a tremendous impact on the price just in the last like few days. But yeah, those are my picks. What about you?
Man, there's so many to choose from. It's really hard. Like, I'm gonna have to go with my most like, I don't want to say undervalued, but like a fair entry price. I do own one of these. That's it. Sugartown by Zynga, because it's by Zynga. They have like a really good, well-known Web3 person on the team that's native, that knows what they're talking about. They have their own little like universe of like gaming tournaments. One starting up this week. I'll be competing in it again. They have really good like systems in place, like reward systems for each of these tournaments. So like right now, I'm really looking, like I'm just loving my Sugartown. Like I enjoy having it because I get to participate in these things, and I'm sure in the future other people might want to as well. So, and it's only like 0.2. It's under 0.2 ETH. If I didn't say Sugartown, I would probably still go with Pudgies. I just like if that royalty aspect gets approved, you know, from like basically if you own a Pudgy, you own the IP, and then that's distributed to like all the Walmarts, you know, or a lot of Walmarts around the world, then this other like really big store that's like more popular in the UK, and you get royalties from that purchase based on your NFT, like, and that's if that's legal, you know, by the SEC, like that's insane. Like that's like we'll see how that plays out individually, and I don't remember the exact percentages you get, but that's a really big deal. And Pudgies have so much; they're so good at marketing. I know that really like random like article came out about Luca about like questionable stuff, but at the end of the day, like Luca knows what he's doing with marketing, and they've already successfully grown an insane Instagram account, an insane Twitter account. They have like billions of GIF plays in Giphy. So yeah, I mean, Pudgy Penguins for like higher end. I don't own a Pudgy Penguin. I own like some of their, I own like some Pudgy toys and stuff, but I don't actually have any of their digital assets. But yeah, there's so many. The Plague, I think Pawns is doing a great job. I think he's building some really cool stuff.
Chris, it's just the one, man. Like, yeah, pick one and then go to crypto. What's your crypto pick?
Bigger Town. All right. My crypto picks are I don't know, man. I gotta really limit this down to one.
Yeah, because like that's the move right there. Because like, you know, we could list all the tokens.
I wasn't listening. I was listening to my favorite out of the hundreds of thousands of projects out there. I listed 3.
All right. Well, while you're looking that up, I'm glad you said Sugartown. I don't know if you saw the alpha here posted on the Paul Bear Network, but the Take-Two CEO was talking about GTA 6 and Zynga and how they think they cracked refreshing the mobile IP. Looks at Sugartown. He didn't specifically say Sugartown, but in this video, it's almost like he's suggesting that they cracked refreshing IP. Their newest IP is in Sugartown, so definitely could be a lot of traction there. Sugartown is definitely
that's wild.
Sugartown. Yeah, Sugartown has definitely had a lot of success here in the Web3. Like, given that even Chris is excited about Sugartown and the auras and what Zynga's doing. Could we see NFTs in GTA 6 next? That's going to be the question that you're going to have to tune into the Paul Bear Network to subscribe. I'm just kidding. No, but for real though, that would be massive. Like, that's like on par with the Roblox announcement. Like, that is like massive. So Roblox, you know, Take-Two, the owner of Zynga and GTA 6 or Grand Theft Auto, like that is just massive, right? They have massive titles, these big, I mean, the biggest games of all time could be implementing and are implementing NFTs. So news alert, it's not just speculation anymore. Like, this is being talked about as we are recording. Like, this is huge, man. And a lot of people have been sleeping on a lot of this. They've been sleeping on Degen Dads. They've been sleeping on Web3 games. They've been sleeping on NFTs, man. And yeah, that's all I got, man. What you got?
That's in our newsletter. That's down below.
Yeah, newsletter down below. Subscribe to that and get fed alpha on tap.
We'll put some more picks on the newsletter today for the special readers that read it.
Do you have any last pick, like one crypto pick? It can be a big token. Like, it can be a big one. Like, the one I mentioned is super risky, and I actually don't buy it because it's risky. That's just a low-key pick. If a high-key pick, the one that's like less and risky, I would say like Solana and AVAX. Like, those are my like two like pretty proven, like, yeah, not proven, but like they're Solana still has a ways to go, I think, but like they have a lot of credibility. They got like Visa putting them at #1 transaction speeds. And AVAX with the subnets. Like, I mean, those are two pretty solid, like fundamentally sound. Like, even though that Solana's had hiccups in the past, I think they've like corrected, and the future is kind of bright for them in a bullish case. But
you're gonna smoke me after this. I will try.
This is financial advice.
Yeah, not financial advice. I will boil it down.
Entertainment.
I just want to put a blanket statement out there. I have crypto that I want to hold for a long time, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. I have crypto that maybe is like more like short term, maybe next cycle I'll sell off. And I have crypto that's like, this is my moon bag, and like I'll 100% sell this based on narrative. So I'm going to go with that moon bag, right now. And again, I'll even narrow that. I'll even kind of expand on that, gaming tokens, what gaming tokens like really haven't seen the light of day yet that I really feel like could go next run. Meme tokens, which of these memes has a strong enough narrative that like, once like people start like kind of getting it, we have more people like looking into crypto, and like more like retail investors like want to find the next meme coin. What's like a Doge type coin, And
dude, Wait a minute. I got to show this on screen here. That people keep asking like what the next Pepe coin is. The original Pepe, the next Pepe is Pepe. It's the original 2016. Now this is like a super low market cap as well. Super risky. Don't invest into it. But I just wanted to, and maybe like I'm not telling you any financial advice, but anyways, I had to bring them up because there's an OG. Oh my god, I got to show you this. Like they created this iOS. Like this is why I was gonna bring it up. Let me see if I can pull it up here. They have like this crazy iOS like Pepe, like Dink meme enjoyers. Look at this. It's loading. Like this looks like an actual like so I can connect wallet. Enter without connecting a wallet. I can connect. It's got music. Yes. They have a messenger, like all these apps right here, like everything's built in.
This is the Pepe coin?
This is the legit like Pepe from 2016 that people
what's the ticker?
It's Pepe coins, but look it up. Don't do your own due diligence. I'm just like trying to like, these are OGs. This was the actual first Pepe. And they got front ran by the influencer Pepe that like Polly and like the, kind of, I don't know if they're, scammers, but it just feels
is this the one that's a BRC20 now?
This is not a BRC20. This is an ERC20.
What's the value right now?
It's pretty low. Like this is obviously a risky play, but look at this. Entering Pepe OS version 69.420, press start to begin. I'm telling you, they understand the Pepe history because they built it. Like this is like part of the lore. Like, look, dude, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
look at that. I can like look around, drink coffee, click on this computer.
Ticker, bro. I want to see the price. Like it's okay, but it's low. Like I want it to be low.
Like they got this virtual desk. I can sign on right here. Bro, isn't that wild? Like
that is wild. Pull the ticker. Don't hide the alpha from us.
I literally, you just go to their website and look it up. Like, dude, I don't know. I haven't looked it up in a while, bro. So like you'd have to go to their Pepe iOS or operating system and see. Let me see.
No wonder it's a low market cap if they put like hoops in to even find it.
Oh, there's a lot here. Let's see, Dex tools. So if you click on Dex tools, it'll probably pull it up here. So let's see what it does. So no, it's pulling up a wrapped ether. It'd be not. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah, no wonder, bro. It's this is not too complicated for the average degen.
There's a lot of fake Pepe, so that's why I don't want to pull it up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's just a lot of scams. You got to be careful. But yeah, that's like the OG, man. And I think they're working on like a Pepe AI as well, like powered by GPUs. Like they're pretty smart. Like it's actually like OG developers, like serious ones. The reason why they are coming back is because they built on Counterparty, which is like way back in the day. Like Trevor would know what Counterparty is. They developed that on Counterparty. The Counterparty developers like passed away or something crazy. It's like a wild story. Then they tried to list Pepe on Bittrex, which was obviously, if you know Bittrex, they had to shut down because the SEC, too much regulation going on. And Bittrex had forced them at the time, and this was like back in like 2019 or 2018 or something. Bittrex said like, hey, you can't list it as Pepe because Pepe is deemed as like this political like thing, even though like it's been proven otherwise now. But back then, like there's just too much, like it was too linked to like 4chan stuff or something. I don't know. But they're like, yeah, you can only list it as, so they listed it as meme token, literally meme. It was like one of the first meme tokens in crypto as well. But they listed it as meme, but the actual symbol was still Pepe. So that's the only way they could get listed on like an official exchange like Bittrex back then. But before that, it was Pepe coin, and so it was like the original Pepe from back in 2016. Now a lot of people don't want to mention it because they're scared of the actual, like they're scared of the Pepe community because it's grown so large, and that if they talk about this one, it's almost like they are, dumping on their community. So they're scared to like lose followers and start an argument. And I've gotten into arguments with some of those people as well, but that's kind of like why you don't really see it being mentioned, is people are scared of losing followers. And I guess Paulie's like people's like, he's got a cult like following now. Like apparently,
Bro,
like
you
people
see, he like
follow him.
beat somebody up randomly, like in the side of the road.
He got beat up. I saw.
Whatever it was, he like aggressively attacked this person for like very little reason.
Yeah, he got beat up or something like that. Which yeah, I saw that kind of go viral. I don't know. It's kind of like staged a little. I don't know,
Yeah,
but who knows?
that's the too.
I honestly like Paulie's one of those guys you don't want to probably not trust. Like just to be like,
Oh, absolutely.
you know,
So
I don't know. I've never met
cool,
Paulie. Maybe he is somebody, but like from what I've seen, I don't know. It's like
I have one more cool thing to talk about before we end this podcast. This
maybe I'm
week, the Ordinal Show hosted this guy. Long story short, Bitcoin Magazine's working with somebody on Project Spartacus, and where they're inscribing war logs from I think the Afghanistan war, like because basically it's to make a stand against this person or in stance of this person who originally was trying to note the tragedies and realities of war that was going on in Afghan, and he got locked away forever. Like he's in prison forever because he was just trying to document what was really going on. So this Project Spartacus is like doing their piece. They're selling each war log as an ordinal, and that ordinal is forever going to be on Bitcoin, and it's going to be about the tragedy of war and the realities of war. And it's kind of a political stance against silencing people and against freedom of speech, of saying this is what happened and this is a tragedy, and it's going to be on Bitcoin forever, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, like there's pretty interesting use cases like that. I think that was something I mentioned on our previous podcast about ordinals is exactly that use case. Literally, I said it before that even happened, but just because I knew that like Filecoin, they do that right now is like they help document like war crimes or something like that. Or is like I was at a crypto event and I watched their like keynote and that was like one of the use cases, and like naturally I knew Ordinals was going to do the same thing. Like I was like, this is a perfect use case. You can go back to our previous podcast. I got the receipts there on that. But yeah, Filecoin isn't like permanent like Bitcoin, but you can essentially, as long as you're paying the bill, it's on chain and it's decentralized. So like hackers can like hack your, stuff. And Ordinals obviously, it's permanent like data, basically. So yeah, pretty interesting. All right, we'll close out with that. Any lighter notes, Chris, before we bounce out?
Now I want to end on that one.
You just want to like leave everybody in a dark like situation here.
You'll feel better if you
Market
subscribe
is
to the newsletter.
pumping. Be careful out there. Things could cool off. Bitcoin ETF around the corner, halving around the corner. Now, traditionally, like they say, it's dumped like before the halving, before it pumps. But just be careful out there. Don't deploy not financial advice, but just be careful. That's all I got to say.
Here,
Because the market
I'll end on this.
has been pumping so much.
In November, which has been 13 days, Ethereum hit 2K, Bitcoin hit 37K, Solana hit $60. Gordon Garner swept $1.7 million worth of NFTs. Web3 gaming is surging. Roblox entered the space. Simpsons made an episode about NFTs. And people are overall excited again. Shout out to Shifter for breaking that down for us.
Oh yeah, I had a good bookmark too. I wanted to like pull up. It mentioned like all the bullish news, and I bookmarked it for this podcast, and I completely forgot to talk about it. But anyways, we've been going on for long enough, anyways, and we mentioned like so much alpha already. And subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll see you guys in the next podcast.